DC here. Hi, guys and gals. Hope you're well. It is Sunday morning, and it's rather cool outside. It's only 10 degrees Celsius. I haven't been on much lately, have I? Well, actually, for those who do watch the vlogs, when I have been away in Spain for, well, over 3 weeks, and came back just in the middle of last week. Oh, wow. It was a great trip, a fun trip. But I was almost going to say different. I hadn't been camping. We were in a camping car, but still, it's closer to camping than staying at home, put it that way, for many years now. And it was fun, but it was different. I mean, it's a completely different rhythm, and the proximity as well. Because I was with the family, with the grandkids, and I was sleeping in the part of the camping car where the grandkids with the grandkids, and so like I say, there's the proximity, and it don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun. It is. I told them a lot of stories every evening. Of course, that was part of my I was going to say part of my ritual. And that's where it gets kind of interesting, is that when you go on something like that, you break completely out of the mold of other rituals, like my morning activities, which I do every morning. Well, I wasn't able to really do them like I did before, or paradoxically, we were in Spain, so I was speaking Spanish when I was with family members, because we visited quite a few family members. But you're not going to learn. Some people think that, I'm going to learn a new language, and then I'm going to go and travel in the country, and people will go in hotels and restaurants, and you don't actually get to speak that much real Spanish, put it that way. In this case, I'm talking about Spanish, real Spanish, because all you're doing is basically ordering food, and once you've got that pat down, and that's okay, and things like that. So when you're with family members, you're actually discussing, and it went well. It was fun, and what I found interesting in that respect is that people realized that I could understand, I could speak okay. I could talk about subjects, not just hello, how are you? And that's where it becomes, at least for a person who's learning, interesting, is that then it's like if they go into a mode like he understands what I'm saying, he's able to express himself, so we don't have to speak slower. We can just speak in the normal way that we would if we're all together with a bunch of locals. And that becomes a real challenge, because some people mumble, some people speak really, really fast, and others, they will say half a sentence, expecting you to know the rest, and things like that. And like an everyday conversation, communication. And like I say, that was actually a challenge. Another thing that was interesting when I was over there was the fact that Galicia is what they call an autonomous region in Spain. So, but they actually have their own language. It's Gallego, which is kind of like a mixture between Spanish and Portuguese, I guess. But it's different. It is. And one of my daughter-in-law's cousins, he's a real fan of. He basically speaks that language all the time. And when he was speaking Spanish, it was I was going to say it was like a foreign language, but almost. You could tell that he was much more at ease in the other language, and often he'd fall into it when we were talking, and then he'd laugh and he'd say, "Oh, that's Gallego," And anyway, But yeah, nice beaches, nice people. I have to say, I hadn't been on a beach like that for many years, where, I mean, people are actually, I was almost going to say sunbathing, but a bit of everything, you know. And by the way, for those who are interested in knowing, yes, in Spain, there's a lot of people on the beach which are, let's say, slightly less dressed than we're expected to see, maybe in North America. But it's no big deal. Well, actually, one thing I did find slightly, maybe slightly disturbing at times was, I mean, uh, prepubescent teens walking around. You know, I know, you know, if you're in a real nudist colony, that's no big deal. But if you are not, I worry at times about the danger of predators. Put it that way. Like I say, if you're in a place where it's everybody's like that, and then again, actually, I realize that, you know, that's just me thinking, because if the society over there is more open to that, then it is no big deal. But anyway, you know, it's one of the things that came into my mind when I was there on the beach. Yeah. One thing that was really cool for me as a, well, first off, as a granddad, as a, you know, sort of basically as a grandpa, as a dad, and it was to get closer to the family members. That was nice, you know, the times to chat. Had a few good chats with my son, and actually I had a lot of good chats with my daughter-in-law. Like, as we said, you know, I'm basically, I'm definitely not her dad, because, I mean, her dad was very close to her and he's passed on. But maybe I'm kind of like a proxy dad, I guess. I mean, so we talked about that a bit, you know, and like I told her, I said, I'm definitely not trying to take the place of the dad, but I never had any girls, so you're kind of like, you're my gal, you know, my girl. I mean, not my gal, my girl, in the sense that, you know, so we're very, very, very close. And my daughter-in-law she's very nice. She's very affectionate with, I was almost going to say, with elderly people. I saw the way she was with her elderly aunts and so on, and so it's nice, you know. She's a good mom. So it's nice to have a daughter-in-law which you can, you know, feel that she's, you know, not only she's not only your son's wife, you know, good that way. Yeah, so that part was really nice in the trip. Yeah, but now coming back, and here I am logging, and like I say, I was like pretty much offline for those 3 weeks, very much. So I was almost not on YouTube. I was a lot on YouTube Kids though, because that's what we would do. We would watch sometimes videos, but it would be on YouTube Kids or other stuff if there was things for the kids. But myself being offline in that respect for about 3 weeks is weird, because I'm finding it almost a challenge to get back online. We're creatures of habit, aren't we? And if we break a habit and start a new one, we got to break that habit and get back into it. And so yeah, even making videos, I did want to make though. I made one video over there where I walked around the camping, and I made a tag video in the beginning of this week, because I did see, you know, the I was going to say the thumbprint of Jasmine's tag, and Jasmine had this, I was going to say, gorgeous hat that you will only see in the UK. I loved it, and anyway, when I saw that, I thought, like, I gotta make a tag response, And actually, I'm glad I did, because Jasmine started um, tagging me again, because Jasmine knew that I was away and stopped tagging me while I was away and started over. So I was glad to be able to start that again. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess basically it's going to be back in the grind, so to say, if I can call it a grind, because it isn't. Today's Sunday, so, and what time is it? It's 20 to 8. So be off to church later on. And so, yeah, I mean, Mrs. DC was here, so for her, life was, so to say, almost the same. As she said, she did a lot of things around the house to keep herself busy. And, well, I say we weren't offline, but weren't off of technology. Because while we were over there, I FaceTimed with her, so video conference, if you want to call it that way. So we FaceTime twice a day. So we did use technology, and we used the satellite, nevertheless, for the internet, for the kids, for whatever they, like I say, there was a lot of YouTube kids. One of my grandsons, Matthew, is so much into the Titanic. Some kids are into dinosaurs. He's into everything Titanic. But I mean in a general sense, like he's going off about the Carpathia, which was the boat that's saved them, the Britannica, the one that was built after, and so on and so on, and who are the people that were saved, and things like that. And I mean, I'm thinking, like, he's 6 and he's almost lecturing me on Titanic stuff. It was interesting. So yeah, so there's all little things like that. So yeah, we weren't completely offline, but I was offline in the sense that I usually am, you know. Okay, and I see I'm up to 12 minutes. That's going to be a long vlog today. Yeah. Anything else? Maybe I'll stop here anyway, but it's kind of nice to get back and have time to chat. And I'm certain there's things after I'm finished with drinking my coffee, and I'll say, like, oh, I wanted to talk about that, and I didn't. But, you know, that's the way it is all the time with a vlog. And especially like right now, I'm just basically talking to myself, but I'm talking to you. So anyway, that'll be DC signing off. Take care, everybody. And I do hope you have a good Sunday.